Hello and welcome along to another episode of this FM19 story, part of the Furniture with me, Daniel. It's season 18, episode 6, and today we're back on the 1st of March for a big FA Cup tie against Man City. We're trying to defend the trophy and stay in a competition, and we're of course playing one of the best sides in England that have now made their way back up to 3rd place in the league. We've also got the second leg of the Champions League last 16 in 3 days' time, so we've got to try and balance our squad selection as well. But we'll worry about all that in a moment when we get to kick off in a few hours' time. On a side note, at the bottom of the Premier League you can see Ipswich are maroon, but the other two have caught up with the rest of the league, so there is quite an interesting relegation battle down there now, but Tottenham and Chelsea still in the bottom half. We're now 5 points off Arsenal as things have gone a little bit wrong since the last episode. Of course we lost to United, which relinquished top spot, but we're falling away yet further now, and we're getting further away from Arsenal and a little bit closer to the Manchester clubs. Thankfully we're 21 points clear of Liverpool in 5th, so we're pretty much assured of a top 4 space, and unfortunately as a Luton fan, Watford have won the Carabao Cup, another thing I'm not too pleased about. But let's go and have a look at the schedule first to see what's happened since the last episode, and then you'll obviously find out why we're back at 9 o'clock, the usual message we get in our inbox. So since the United game, we played 5 games in February. Yes, we're unbeaten, but we've not been in great form. Not won an away match in any competition either, something that's a little bit of a concern, but thankfully we've got 3 home games in a row now. So we drew 2 all away at Liverpool, Omar and Yiladian with the goals for us. Boubacar Silla picked up a knock and he just got back on the bench for the Chelsea game, but we did miss him going forward in recent weeks, although defensively we weren't great either. Then away to Celtic it was a 0-0 draw. We absolutely dominated this game. No idea how we didn't manage to win it, and it's why I'm not so worried about the second leg, to be honest, because I really think we're going to win comfortably. But of course I may be proven wrong and have egg on my face by the time the next episode comes. We won 3-2 at home to Aston Villa in the league. Omar the hero with a 90th minute winner. Alex Andrade with a brace again in that one. He's been back in form in the last few games. Then a 1-1 draw away at Spurs, Andrade with the equaliser again, and then a 3-2 win last time out at home to Chelsea. McDonald, Kozzel and Torquay Hull with the goals. And Singi's had a really poor run at centre half, so Hull's getting a little run in the team in the middle again, and he's been playing really well in the last few games, so he'll probably start again in this one today. A late consolation from Chelsea made it look closer than it probably was, and thankfully the Celtic side we're playing in the Champions League have also lost one of their 2 Polish wonder kids. But let's go back to the inbox. I did see the message as it brought me straight back to it, but I haven't gone and looked at the players yet, and that of course is our youth intake. We didn't get the good message. Sam Bird stands out as one of the better players this year. Of course we all know that is the least exciting message you can get. He's a central midfielder and centre forward, but last year we still had a couple of decent players, so it is certainly worth having a look at. And don't forget, as we've now got a much higher quality first 11, these players are in comparison to that, so their star ratings are naturally going to be a bit lower, unless they're going to be one of the best players in the world. So let's go and look at the youth candidates team, and my word, that isn't the reason this year. This is possibly the worst intake we've ever had in relative terms. Of course they all would have been stars in the National League South and the National League, but that's not the point at this stage. A couple have got 1-star ability, but at most is 2.5-star potential, and I don't think we're going to get any Premier League players out of this, but let's look at the 3 that have got 1-star ability. Sam Bird was marked as the star. He's a striker and can play in central midfield, a decent player and probably will become a pro. He's got a really decent personality and attitude, but he's not going to be above League 1 level. And then the same again with Elliot Phillips, a central midfielder who's pretty decent, a low determination which we'll need to work on, but again maybe League 1 or League 2 level, certainly not much more than that. And then the other striker is Jacob Hilliard. He's 1-star ability, 2.5 potential as well. And again, he's pretty good in terms of the key attributes, but mentally he's very weak for a 16-year-old. So we're a little bit worried about him. And again, maybe League 2 or National League, but certainly not going to make it at the top level. That is the worst youth intake we've had in a long time. So let's just pretend it didn't happen and move on to our FA Cup tie in a few hours. Okay, we're back for the 3 o'clock kickoff against City. The squad dynamic update is decent. The dressing room atmosphere is very good. Boubacar Silla's ended his unhappiness, but there's still a couple that are struggling at the moment. Richard Quirker, team leader's having a strop. He's unhappy that he's not getting more first team football. And Daniel Kozel obviously still wants to go to China. So 2 of our team leaders causing the unhappiness. The board are pretty pleased with what we're doing. I'm surprised it's not better than that actually. And then in fitness test today, we've got 2 wingers back from injury. Both of them were on the bench against Chelsea, but I'm not sure if they're going to be ready to start today. But let's go and have a look at our lineup. We haven't picked it yet, so we're going to go through it together. You'll see a bit of the decision-making process, although Arsenal have just lost in the Premier League, so we might have to reevaluate our priorities after this, but I feel we can get through against Celtic with a few players rested, so today I don't mind going weaker if needed. And Singi's going to stay on the bench with Torquay deputising. Kante, I'm not sure how he played last time. 6.8 against Chelsea. That's better than him or Keita have been doing in recent weeks, so he's going to stay in the team there. I'm going to bring Silla back in for Kozel because he's 98% condition. Sousa was out for a little bit longer, so he'll stay on the bench with Yaladian starting. Andrade scoring again, so he'll definitely start up front. It's just whether we want to bring anyone else on the bench really. We've got the likes of Bruno Moraes who could come in. He normally sits on the bench in these games, but with Sousa not particularly fit and Silla as well, it seems weird to take Kozel off the bench at this stage. So I think that's the 18 we're going to go for. Not too many changes from the last game in the end. Just Boubacar Silla coming back in on the left, and the other headlines being that Kante and Hull keep their places. So it's Dejanovic in goal with Cura and Wagner the fullbacks, McDonnell and Hull at centre half, then Baccanes, Omar and Kante the midfield 3, Yaladian and Silla on the wings, and Alex Andrade the goal machine up front, looking for his 20th one of the season. So let's go and get into this game against City. Boubacar Silla's obviously lacking match sharpness, but hopefully he'll do enough in the hour he's on the pitch to help us get over the line into the quarter-finals. It's a unique formation for City, a 5-man midfield but 2 holding midfielders and an attacking one, and in 2 wingers playing out wide in midfield rather than in the more advanced roles. They've got a few players on the bench that would normally start, the likes of Finetti and of course our former player Dimitri Lapin. He started the first game against us this year, but on this occasion he's left among the substitutes. They've gone for the backup keeper in Mulder, Selper at fullback's a player we've tried to sign before, Matthias de Lig's still going now in a holding role, and Kelby Carrick in the number 10, another player we came close to signing in years gone by. So an interesting lineup. We'll go and talk to the lads. We'll tell them to do it for the fans. I'm not sure if any of you have seen the announcements about the new FM20 features. We will have talked about a few of them yesterday if you didn't see the video. We went through some of our plans for the game, and we also put a couple of polls in there so you can help shape the content on the channel next year. But as a result of that, we also talked about some of the features, one of them being this one about backup sides in the cups, the managers at big clubs being more willing to rotate, so we should come up against weaker teams, and for smaller reputation clubs like Torquay, it'll give us a chance to try and win these competitions. Yaladian finds Kante as we start the game well, the through ball to Cura's overhit though, trying to get him in behind that fullback and create those crossing opportunities, but this one went behind for a goal kick, and with 5 gone it remains goalless. We're back with Kante on the edge of the City box again though. He finds Yaladian and now Baccanes. He's got 2 men inside him and one of them's Kante. He finds Omar and there's plenty of space here, but he has to go back to Kante in the end. Brilliant quick pressing from City, but it doesn't matter. Alex Andrade with a near post header, glances it in past the keeper Mulder. Cura did get in behind this time, overlapping the fullback Selper, tried to whip that delivery into the front post, and Andrade ducking with a glancing header at the near post, guides it beautifully into the back of the net, and with 12 minutes gone we lead 1-0, and we're back again with Wagner on the edge of the box. He gets it wide again, tries to deliver, Yaladian wins the header at the back post, but he can't quite get enough on it to direct it, and is behind for a goal kick to Manchester City. 15 gone and it's 1-0 to Torquay. Can we go on another run in the FA Cup? Cura on the right with a free kick to Wagner, in towards Omar but it's cleared. Kante now Baccanes and Kante again. We're keeping it brilliantly 30 yards out. We're having a lot of territorial pressure, which is something we don't often do. It's normally quick counter-attacks, but this is different. Kante's shots blocked and Yaladian over. Good first time effort which almost tested the keeper. We're back with an Andrade free kick. Mulder makes the save and it falls for Kante. Brilliant challenge and clearance though. Andrade mops it up again on the right. The one thing that's just occurred to me is there must be a brilliant draw for this round of the FA Cup. Us against City and Chelsea, Liverpool. 4 of the best 7 sides on paper in the league. And we're not playing on TV at all. The 3 o'clock kickoff's on a Saturday afternoon. So the other ties must be absolutely mouthwatering. 1 minute to the break and it's still 1-0. And City haven't really posed a threat all game. It's 1-0 at the break and it's a well-earned lead according to the commentary. Alex Andrade the hero again. We've encouraged the lads and told them to go out and do well in the second half, keep up their performance and do their best. And with 10 minutes gone in the second half, we haven't seen any other highlights, so I'm presuming City haven't caused much threat yet. Nearly an hour gone and we've got a dangerous free kick on the right. Silla whips it in towards Backenheads. Mulder up brilliantly to claim it, the City keeper, and he's got a chance to counter with a big long kick. Hull brings it down though at the back for us. No real pressure from the Manchester City players. Yiladian picks it up on the right hand side. Kante and Cura at the back again. Long ball forward that De Ligt intercepts. Omar wins the header though and finds Andrade. Holds it up as a brilliant target man there, and Silla goes inside to Kante again. 1-2 with Silla, who's going to have to come off soon, struggling for fitness and match rating. Of course it's his first game back for a month or so Daniel Kozzel's waiting in the wings if need be. 65 minutes gone though, we still lead 1-0 and City struggling to create anything against us. Hayward's missed a penalty for Chelsea in the other game. Liverpool will have a lifeline from that one. We're going to replace Silla with Kozzel for now though. A quarter of the game remaining and he's done his job. We don't want to risk another injury, particularly with a big Champions League game in 3 days. Selper with a throw on the left for City though. We said they've created nothing and watch what they'll do here. Kelby Carrick given space on the edge of the box. He tries to whip it into that far top corner, but thankfully it went just high and wide. Andrade with a free kick at the other end blocked. Out for a throw on the left hand side for Torquay. No idea why we saw such a short highlight, but I think we're going to make another substitution now. We've got a couple of options here. Backenez on a yellow card. Kante not had the best game and Omar knackered. Thinking of the Champions League in 3 days, it's going to be Omar a take-off. Maddie Cater on into the advanced playmaker role and hopefully he'll do something special in the last 15. A first team regular last year, he knows exactly how we play and we hope he'll be trying to prove a point in this one. Edgar at right back for City's a Sanders. They're trying to build from the back this time. A little bit more of a patient approach than otherwise. They've been quite direct in the few highlights we've seen of them this game, but on this occasion they're trying to build slowly. It's Lake and Sanders in the holding role. The formation seems to have been pretty easy to defend against. Abstein gets it at right back as Cater presses well, but now they get out with Lake to Edgar. The right midfielder running at the defence. No one's gone near him, he beat the whole team. The shot's towards the bottom right hand corner, but Stojanovic dives down to that side and tips it wide. Edgar's going to deliver the in-swinging corner himself. It's in towards the centre forward, but Hull heads away. Cross on the left hand side picks it up. Cura with a good challenge, and with 5 minutes to go it's still 1-0. Stojanovic for some reason complacent in goal. We're just going to see out this highlight and then we will make our last substitution. Lake finding Carrick who's dropped deep. He's coming over halfway, he's got one man in front of him, but Backenez does really well to win it back. That's why we don't like to take him off. He's so good at breaking up the play there, and the cross is cleared and falls to Kante. He's going to shoot from the edge surely, but it's just wide of the post. The keeper wasn't tested, and with 4 to go we're going to make our last sub. Kante is a candidate, but we haven't got a sub midfielder. We've already used Maddie Cater off the bench, so it's Yiladian Andrade or Backenez to come off. I'm not sure who's the best candidate at this point. I think it is going to be Backenez, just because he's on the yellow and he is the least fit of the 3, so we're going to bring on Raphael for him, and hopefully Backenez will be fit for midweek. I've got to say the attacking fullbacks have worked really well today, mainly because the City midfielders have been deeper. They've pushed them forward now for stoppage time though, so we're going to drop them to defensive duties. We're going to drop Cater to support as well. No need to take any risks at this point, and we'll also make our tactical changes too as we move into 4 minutes of stoppage time. You know the drill by now. Holding the shape, slowing the pace down and time wasting, all of the usual suspects, and we've just got to hope that slows the game down for the last 3 minutes where we try to hold our lead. Chelsea look like they're going to win 1-0 in the other game. City look like they may lose 1-0 here, but they've got 30 seconds to launch one final attack. Selper with a long ball forward. forward. Wagner heads away but only as far as Edgar. Kozul does brilliantly to defend and win it back though. Really good work from the attacking winger, and that's the team spirit we've got here. Cater bringing it forward but loses out to Albano. He finds Edgar on the right hand side, through ball to Finetti but Wagner gets there. McDonnell actually did really well to get his body in the way, stop the striker getting there at full speed. The final whistle goes as Kozul picks it up on the left. It's a 1-0 win for Andrade's early goal, a brilliant glancing header from Cura's cross, and the fullbacks caused trouble all day for City. We dominated the match and deserved to get through. And finally a bit of good news on camera. After that disappointing performance against United last time round, we're through to the quarter-final of the FA Cup. Hopefully we'll be able to look at the draw in a minute, but a brilliant performance and the lads are delighted. Stuart Jelling pretty happy as well. Chelsea did get through in the other game. Let's see if any of the other matches have been played. I'm not quite sure what the ties were here. In fact, the quarter-final draw's already been made. I'm not sure what's happened there at all. United and Chelsea are the two biggest sides left in it. United get an easy draw at home to MK Dons. Chelsea against Everton, and that sort of explains why we weren't on TV, as these ties must have been rearranged. Not sure if it's something to do with the winter break. We're away to Wolves though, so that's going to be a tough tie. And Crystal Palace at home to West Brom in the other. The media say we're in control as City are brushed aside. A little bit of money for winning the tie. The confirmation we face Wolves in the quarter-final. England boss Jamie Clapham's at the Torquay Stadium. Anyone remember him, the average left-back? Really decent player, but look at his attributes, he's absolutely fantastic. Managed Lincoln, Brentford, Newcastle and Wolves on the way, and now he's the manager of the national team. At 60 years of age, he looks a brilliant coach. Southampton v Torquay's rearranged due to the FA Cup, and we'll deal with the press conference off camera. But let's go and have a look at the schedule for when we'll next be back. And the game we intend to come back for probably isn't on here. If we get through against Celtic, we'll come back for the quarter-final to show you the second leg with a tie in the balance. We'll probably get one of Europe's elite in that one, so it'll be interesting to see who we're up against. We'll leave that as a surprise for now though. Of course we could go out to Celtic, but we look far stronger in the first leg, so with our wingers back fit I think we'll be alright. But if you did enjoy this episode and that brilliant performance against Manchester City, please do put a thumbs up on the video. It's really good to see us controlling games against the elite sides now. We've always been a little bit lucky where we've won before. That one we were the better side from start to finish. Of course we also had our youth intake, a little bit disappointing and the worst I can remember in years. Let me know if you've had any super ones in recent months. Alternatively, I guess let me know if you've had a worse one than that, particularly at Premier League or elite level, when you're expecting to get at least one decent player who's going to make it maybe in the Championship or Premier League. This year we just didn't have that at all, so we are going to have to wait patiently again. Hopefully our final year will bring a superstar. And then of course we've got Wolves in the quarter-final of the Cup, a really winnable game on paper, and we saw Arsenal lose the lunchtime kick-off in the Premier League, so we're just 5 points behind still in the table, but now we've got that game in hand. I think that might be the one away to Leicester, so by the time we're back for the next episode, hopefully the title race will be back on again. Subscribe to the channel for daily FM19 content from this Torquay United story. New episodes every Sunday to Thursday at 4:30 until the release of FM20. Speaking of that, if you didn't see yesterday's FM20 plans video, please do go back and check out the episode. It really was exciting for us. We spoke about our schedule when FM20's released, reacted to some of the more niche announcements, and there were also a couple of votes as I mentioned earlier, so you can shape some of the content on the channel next year. There's also 3 episodes a week from my Cricket 19 series. That's every Tuesday, Thursday and Saturday at midday. We're really progressing well in our long-term career now, so come and join me to see how we're getting on. And then we're in the last tournament of our Snooker 19 career. That's on Fridays at 4:30. We're trying to finish in glory by winning the Snooker World Championships, but of course that'll be easier said than done. But a massive thanks for watching this one and your continued support of the series as always. I really do appreciate it, and I hope yesterday got you excited for FM20, as I'm really looking forward to our series with that game. But I hope to see you next time for this one, as we've still got a year and a bit of FM19 to go, and fingers crossed we'll be able to win that elusive Champions League, and we'll be back for the quarter-final in the next episode.